how it is every time, you dingle dork.
Hello, everybody. Can everybody see us? This is the first episode of our new miniseries, Browncoat Broadcast. Me and Spencer are going to be spending the next several episodes doing an episode by episode recap of Firefly. And we might talk about a few other things related to Firefly in future episodes. We've got a movie that we can talk about. There are some comic books based on Firefly that we can talk about. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We are going to talk about the first episode, which is, well, hang on. Let me do that again. We are going to talk about the first episode, which is entitled Serenity. And we got a few people in the chat room. Can you see us, folks? Are we actually live?
Yeah, it looks all good to me.
Okay. I can never tell because unlike StreamYard, which we were using before, it doesn't actually tell me that we're streaming. However, so far in the chat, it looks like we have Chris. Hello, sir. We have Steve Spawn. We have Matt. No, I have not bought my Jane hat yet. I will get one at some point. Chris said, I hope there are toy dinosaurs.
Hope so too. I don't have any. Wait, hold on. I have toy.
No.
This isn't probably quite like, I don't know why this is on my desk. Genuinely no idea why this is on the back of my desk, but this is close enough, right?
Oh, there you go. That's kind of a dinosaur. And then we have Smirking Bear is also in the chat with us. He says,
What's up, Bear?
My fellow older and younger nerd. So here we are. This is that Chris says that looks like a wash dino.
I really don't know where this came from.
So this is my third attempt at using OBS, but only my second attempt at doing a live stream using OBS. So we'll see how this goes. Because the first attempt, if you were watching the stream Tuesday, was a clusterfuck. Anyway, so Firefly. We did an episode on Firefly on the live stream a few weeks ago, which is kind of an overview of the Firefly TV show. Were you in the chat for that one? I can't remember.
I was not.
Okay.
I think I was busy that night or something.
All right. So you didn't get all that stuff, but yes, we decided we're going to do this episode by episode recap thing.
I also didn't want it to be completely spoiled. I'm sure you're going to get to this as well.
Good idea.
But when I watch, I'm trying to think. I own the series on Blu-ray. I have it right behind me. I own the movie somewhere on DVD as well, but I've owned the series for a few years now on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And you can also watch it all on Hulu now too. But this is where I was watching some of the first episode. But it's been something I've been wanting to watch. Point is.
But I watched it when I did my rewatch, I watched it on Hulu. But
it is more convenient.
So, the first episode, Serenity.
Yeah.
There's our little thumbnail there. So, funny or fun, I don't know, fact about this episode. This was originally intended to be the pilot episode. It was the first episode that was produced. However, it was actually, when the show originally aired back in, hell, I don't remember, when did the show originally air? I'm sure we talked about it on that other episode, but I don't.
This episode's original air date is listed as December 20th, 2002.
Okay, So 2002 is when this show originally aired. When the show originally aired, this was the last show that aired. This was the series finale.
What?
So, because when they originally aired it,
Oh, I
they
see
pulled the
that.
Clone Wars and aired everything out of order. Don't know why they did it.
I see that because the next episode was aired on September 20th.
Right. So, the first episode that actually aired, like the first time people saw Firefly for the first time, the first episode they saw was Train Job, which we
That'll be
will talk
interesting.
about. We will talk about. We're going to do a recap on that one. But this one was actually the finale. Now, I did not watch the show when it originally aired. I did not catch it until after it had already been canceled. So when I watched it for the very first time, this was the first episode that I saw. Looking back on it, knowing that this was the last episode that the original viewer saw, I'm like, the fuck? How is that? That would have made no sense to me.
Right.
You know, Bear, I don't think I'm going to have a war against OBS tonight. I don't. So far, everything seems to be working.
You know, Bear keeps on telling me about your this war that you had supposedly a couple nights ago.
Dude,
I'm kind of
Tuesday-
curious to check it out.
Tuesday was a
whenever-
freaking mess, man. It was. Tuesday was a mess.
Funny.
It was a mess. But yeah. Aside from that, he does say he has zero understanding of Firefly and is only here for moral support. I appreciate the moral support, but tonight I don't think I'm going to need it. I think I've more or less got this down to a point where I don't have to click and cuss.
I kicked Steve's ass. Okay.
AI.
I was gonna say, I don't know where AI fits into
I don't
this
know where
equation.
AI comes into play. I don't think this is AI. Matt,
No, we're all fake. No,
Yeah,
you
we're
gotta
all
run
fake.
with the bit. We're all fake here.
Matt says,
we're
I
not
watched
real
it
people."
originally. They released 3 more episodes after it was canceled.
Yeah.
That's odd. Anyway, so this one first aired, like you said, on December 20th. And that was, the last episode that aired. Let's get into the recap. So it starts off in it starts off with the Battle of Serenity Valley, which you are going to hear more about as you continue watching this show. Actually, before I do get into that, how many episodes have you actually watched so far?
I only remember for sure watching 2 or 3. I don't know if I
Okay.
made it beyond that.
So you haven't watched the whole thing yet. That's all right.
No.
So you are going to hear about Serenity Valley, Battle of Serenity Valley, a lot in later episodes. But so it starts off with a battle, the Battle of Serenity Valley, and it shows Mal and Zoe, and their other Browncoat folks, and it shows the battle that more or less lost the unification war for the. I almost wanted to say the separatists, the independents. And then it jumps to 6 years later. They're in space. They're in the Serenity. Well, some of them are in the Serenity. Others are rescuing some crates from a derelict ship that just happens to belong to the Alliance. They are taking these crates. They are spotted by an Alliance cruiser. And then Wash does this thing where he deploys some like some distress signals, essentially, is what he's deploying. And the Alliance picks up on them, and they decide, we're not gonna mess with this ship right now. We're gonna go check out these people that need help, but we're gonna tag this ship for later. So they do that, and Serenity leaves. They get their crates, they get them on board, they leave. Then we jump to Persephone, which is a planet we're going to see again. And they land, and Mal tells the rest of the crew to go look for passengers or other jobs because they need money. They take the goods that they've stolen to Badger's basically like a crime lord. What do you think of Badger? He's like he's a little shit, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting character. I was trying to remember exactly which one. But yeah, that one is.
Yeah, he's kind of
a good way to put him.
He's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
So they take the goods
Especially,
because they were.
He's
hired.
the one that has the scene at the end, right, where it's like, at the end of the episode where the main what's the main character's name? Malcolm. Mal. Yeah, where he was
Mal
like
Reynolds.
Yeah, where he was like what is it? He was talking to him, and originally he was like, well, you had a chance to backstab me, why didn't you? And then he was like,
oh, he's talking to Jane during that thing.
Jane.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure.
But yeah,
not
so
100% sure on who's who yet.
This guy Badger is the one that hired him to go find this stuff, and so they bring it to him, and he refuses to take it because the Alliance flagged their ship. So they're like, you bastard. And so they leave, and they're like, okay. They go and they pick up some new passengers. They pick up a bunch. They pick up a shepherd who's more or less like a monk, I guess. Best way to describe him. And they pick up Simon, who's got this mysterious box. And they pick up, they got Simon, they got Book, and they've got this other random guy named Dobson, who will come into play later. And Mal's like, yeah, this is all you got. And they're like, this is what we found. And they decide, okay, we didn't make our money here, so we are going to sell the crates to a former business associate of Mal's named Patience on the planet Whitehall. Zoe's like, I don't know if we should do that because they have a sordid past. Apparently, she tried to shoot Mal, apparently, at some point in time. Matt says that we are buffering a lot.
Yeah, is it like that for anybody else? I was just trying to look at on my side, and it seems okay right now, but I haven't been consistently looking at the stream. Not too bad anymore. Okay.
So they leave. They leave Persephone and head for Whitefall. And en route, they discover that this passenger Dobson is actually an Alliance, kind of like a policeman. The frame rate is right at 0. If you're like the dropped frames, it's actually at 0%. So I don't know. That might not be what you're talking about. Anyway, they discover that he's an Alliance cop essentially, and he's actually after Simon. And then there's a little scuffle, confrontation type thing, and Dobson accidentally shoots Kaylee, who is the ship mechanic. If you didn't know that. She gets shot, and they have this discussion with. Well, they overpower Dobson. They kind of take him into custody, so to speak. And they have this discussion with Simon about, you better help her, you're a doctor, da-da-da, all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, you're going to have to agree to whatever. Anyway, so during this confrontation with Simon, they go to the box. Of course, he doesn't want them to open the box. They open the box and discover there's a girl in it. So right away, everybody thinks, oh, you sicko. But no, it's his sister, his younger sister, who he has rescued from an Alliance school. And that's why the Alliance is after him. So then there's that whole thing with trying to make Kaylee better, and they discover River, the younger sister, River Tam, and they continue on with their little adventure. Before landing on Whitehall, they notice there is a ship. yeah, Chris. School. They notice there is a ship. It's a Reaver ship. So the Reavers, which we're going to see again in future episodes, and they play a very important part of the movie that we will talk about eventually. But basically they're space cannibals. It's the best way to describe them, I think. They're crazy. So they notice a ship, and they get all freaked out because nobody wants to. The whole thing about Reavers is you don't want to. What am I trying to say? You don't want to have to interact with them because there's no interaction. They're gonna rape you and kill you, and hopefully in that order, or I don't know. There was a quote. Now I can't remember what the quote is. I'll get back to that.
I see the quote. I see it right here.
Oh, okay. What is it?
It says, if they take the ship, they'll rape us to death, eat our flesh, and sew our skin into their clothing. And if we're very, very lucky, they'll do it in that order.
Cool. Okay. So they escape without incident. So they get away, or so they think. We'll get to that. They go to Whitehall. They meet with patients. There's a little confrontation there because she tries to kill them, as Zoe tried to warn them would happen. There's a little brief combat engagement. They leave with the money, and I think that's the part where you're talking about where he's like, or maybe that's later in the episode. Anyway, they leave with the money, and then they find out they're being followed by the aforementioned Reavers. And there's this really cool maneuver that Wash does to get away from the Reavers. And yeah, that's the scene where he's like, did you want to betray me? And why didn't you betray me? He's like, the money wasn't good enough.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so that's where we end, and that is the first episode. So, what were your thoughts on the first episode overall?
Well, I think it did what
that's right,
premiere
Chris.
should.
That's right. It was the Crazy Ivan maneuver.
Crazy Ivan.
Crazy Ivan.
Yeah. I think this did everything that a premiere episode should, right? Like the point of a premiere is it's meant to set up what you're going to see, right? And the fact that this wasn't the original aired episode, I had no idea about that until you literally just said, a little bit ago, is wild to me, because it's like, I don't see how this can't not be the premiere episode, It begins in a great way showing the flashback. And that flashback is critical to understanding why they're all together and why they all feel the way they do. And then when you get into that, into the main episode itself, you have a solid introduction into each and every character, which is important. And each character, for what I remember, seems to have like they're each have their own moment to shine, which is important as well. And you get the vibe of what each character should be. And it's not particularly like how, say, later on in the series where um, some it's not necessarily character centric on one character, except for maybe the main captain, which makes sense that
Right.
he'd be the one with the most screen time because he's the captain. He's the Kirk of the crew, and so.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I mean, point being, I think they did everything they should. We got the vibe of who all the characters are, and kind of,
I,
understand their role.
I wonder if the way they released the episodes is part of the reason that it originally did not resonate with people.
I mean, that's the thing is it sounds like a sabotage, Like I
Yeah.
don't know the full order to why they did that, but it's just wild to
I
me.
mean, there were people out there that were watching when it was originally released and were huge fans and were just like ride or die fans for this and were really pissed when it got canceled.
Yeah,
Um, but it seems like the general public, it didn't resonate with them, and that's why Fox canceled it. But yeah, it seems like it was almost a sabotage because they released it in a way where you couldn't really connect with these characters because you didn't know anything about them. Like it just jumped in with
mm.
like you assuming who these people were. Hey JD, what's up, man?
What's up, JD? Yeah, I was just reading here a little bit, at least on the wiki page, that like Fox wasn't happy with this premiere, and they even reshot a bit of it, which might be why it was pushed to the end. But like, it's just crazy though that it's like it seemed like they just really the studio execs just really didn't like this episode, and I don't know. I think it kind of just adds fuel to the fire of the mindset that like people running these studios, it's like, do they really know what they're doing half the time? It's like certain studios you look at nowadays and you're like, do they really know what they're doing? Like not to go off topic too much, but like, you look over at all the movies Sony makes and it's like, do they know what the heck they're doing this movie business? They've been in it for so long and I still don't think so. And so um just something like that where it's just
I
like
would have to agree with that. I don't think Sony knows how to make decent movies.
I know, right? But there's a point is of like people who's funding and helping make these things happen seem to be disconnected to what people really want, and I think that's a big part of it too because obviously Firefly, all this, the series had its run, just not like less than a year before I was born, and so like the series predates me. But
Yeah.
what I know of it now, though, is I hear about how much love it got, and everybody is like, "How dare this gets canceled?" Everybody who I've ever talked to Firefly about, they're like, "Oh, this was so good," um, and so it's interesting when you're talking about like if these casual fans didn't click with it or what it is there. Um, and then there's also the time, and there's other factors to it there as well, such as like when they premiered it or anything, but. Yeah, network executives dislike the show, the slow, character-driven original plot, and demanded more action. Yes, I remember just reading something about that action bit, and so yeah, and that's the thing though. It's like you don't necessarily need that, especially for a show. But I could also get it being slow, but it makes me wonder how the future episodes are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, there really wasn't a whole lot of action in this episode. I mean, there was the fight
Yeah,
on board the ship, which, you know,
yeah,
I can see their point of view.
sure.
However, uh, it still seems like like you were saying, sabotage. It feels like a sabotage because if people don't understand the characters or cannot connect to the characters, they're not going to like a show.
Well, that's the thing. I think you're 100% right. Is like it was a very character centric episode to set up who everybody is. So it wasn't designed in a way to have a bit of action, you know, to yeah, it's just like it's meant to be as an introduction for the characters more than anything else.
Yeah. Smirking Bear says that you're dating yourself.
Yeah, I do that all the time. And then
Matt says he feels old. Dude, I don't want to hear about your feeling old.
No comment.
So, okay, but we did get to see the characters in this episode. Like we were saying it, you know, like Smirking Bear said, we are talking about these in canon order. So, do you have just based on this one episode? Did you have any favorite characters?
I mean, yeah, two stand out to me, and it's funny enough that's the two kind of actors I'm the most familiar with. I don't know if that subconsciously had to do with anything of me liking them the most, but obviously, Captain Reynolds was great. But you know, that's also like the easy answer, I feel like, as well too, since there's the character we got the most of. But he was a pretty good captain, though.
I mean, it's fair that you resonate with him because you know the actor.
Sure.
I'm going to get to that here in a second, Matt. Actually, I wanted to touch on that. This was actually the first time I'd ever seen Nathan Fillion in anything. Like So I say I did not watch it originally, but it was not long after it canceled. Like, it was probably, it may have been like 2005-ish. At the latest, maybe 2006.
6 years after.
Matt. I think like 2006 at the latest, I think, is when I finally started watching this. But yeah, I'd never seen Nathan Fillion in anything before this. I think the next thing that I saw him in was, and I'm going to get the title of it probably incorrect, Dr. Horrible and Captain Hammer. Do you know anything about that?
Never heard of it.
Anybody in the chat know what I'm talking about? Do you know Captain Hammer and Dr. Horrible?
I'm looking up what stuff he's been in.
The name of the show was Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along Blog. And it was not a blog, it was a show. But Nathan Fillion played Captain Hammer. He's basically a superhero. And Dr. Horrible was played by Neil Patrick Harris. Great show. If you've never seen it, you got to check it out. Okay, back to... So Matt says, I have hats and shoes older than Spencer.
I saw that.
And Smirking Bear says that he has toys older than you. Okay.
See a bunch of those at cons I go to. See a lot of things that predate me.
Chris has heard of it. There you go, Dr. Horrible, yeah. Wasn't it called Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along Blog? I'd look it up, but I don't want to get on another screen right now.
I'm looking through things he's done, and I realize, oh, I see it here. 3 episodes. I see.
It was called Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along Blog. It was, it was Neil Patrick Harris, Nathan Fillion, and Felicia Day. I feel like I should. Okay, folks. I think her biggest role was probably Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I feel like I know her from something else that is not Buffy, but I can't, for the life of me, tell you what it is. It's probably Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along Blog. Oh, you know what? You know what she was in? She was in 2 episodes of Dollhouse, which was another Joss Whedon thing. In any case, here we are off track. We're not talking about.
That sounds right. That's on brand.
Oh, she is. I did not realize that, Chris. That's okay. Felicia Day is one of the founders of Critical Role. Interesting. I've seen episodes of that, Matt. I didn't watch that until I've seen a few episodes, and it was probably like 2 years ago. My wife likes that show, and I was in the room when she was watching it. So, he's also in another TV show that she likes, where he plays a cop.
The Rookie.
Okay, but point being, he plays Captain Malcolm Reynolds in Firefly. He's only a captain because he's the captain of the ship. He was actually a sergeant in the war. But yeah, it makes sense that he would be one of your favorite characters. I'd probably have to go with him myself as well. Just because he's a cool character. I really like Wash though too. And actually,
he was going to be the other one I was about to say.
but you know what? Actually, if Malcolm Reynolds was not my favorite character, I really think that I'd have to go with River.
Okay.
But you know what? That's more based on the show. That's not based on this episode. Based on this episode, she couldn't be my favorite character because we didn't get a whole lot of.
When you have a character introduction of somebody just playing with the little dinosaurs, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
So I liked Wash a lot.
Yeah, Wash is cool. But no, I mean, really, all of the characters are fun to watch. They're all good characters. They all interact well. Like, the whole dynamic of the entire crew is like, how can you not like the show, people? It's like,
I mean, I could see it feeling slow, but other than that, this first episode seemed like it was well constructed, at least for me.
Yeah, that's what it was called, Matt. Yes, The Rookie. So in the episode that JD and I did on Rebel Nerd Radio, I think I had mentioned, and I'm still pretty sure, I think this might have been the first thing that I saw Alan Tudyk in. But I'm not sure because I don't remember when I first saw the movie A Knight's Tale. A Knight's Tale came out in 2001, so it predates Firefly. But I don't remember if I saw that before I saw Firefly or not. I don't have an internal track memory of when I saw movies most of the time. Spurging Bear says, I couldn't like it because I never watched it. Why are you not watching that? You should be watching that before you watch our live stream. Because we just spoiled the entire show for you. Um, yeah, those are yeah, all of the characters just work well together. Uh, I okay, if I were a studio executive, I could see why this would not be your pilot episode. But in retrospect, knowing how everything worked together, it just doesn't make sense that this would not be the first episode.
Yeah.
But
You see, I'll be interested in when we get to the next episode of this, because now that I know that, I'm gonna like watch the second episode partly through a different lens. You know?
yeah, yeah, because like yeah, you're gonna be looking at it through. This was the first one that everybody else saw.
Yeah.
And when I found out that it was the first episode everybody saw, and I was doing my rewatch, I'm like, huh, yeah, this would have made almost zero sense to me. Like, who are these people? Why are they doing this? Why? Yeah, like, I don't know. But the train job is the next episode that we're going to talk about. I'm gonna be real with you folks. We had this idea. We're going to do this episode by episode recap. I didn't really have an outline for how this was going to go.
We'll figure it out.
I mean, we did kind of a synopsis. We talked about like our overall thoughts of the episode. We talked about our favorite characters. What else can we talk about? Those of you in the chat, what do you want? What else do you want us to say about this first episode? I was really hoping the chat would be a lot more engaging on the show itself, but we got a guy in the chat that's not even seen the damn thing.
Well, I mean, you know, there's certain bits of the show that, or this pilot episode, I could also get into a little deeper. I suppose we could say, like, first off, we got to see that big battle at the beginning, or at least the end of the big battle. What was it called? That
is a good point. The Battle of Serenity Valley. That, I think, I don't know if it really fit in this episode. It did give some context, I suppose.
Well, I think that context is important because you understand why these characters are like not fond of the government per se, or these, you know, the leaders, you could say, and why they're on their own.
Yeah. It does give you perspective as to, somewhat, as to why Mal and Zoe do what they do. They want nothing to do with the Alliance, because the Alliance, at least to them, pretty much is their enemy. Has always been their enemy. So they want nothing to do with them. So they're basically, so they're not pirates. They're mercenaries with a ship. Because like, I mean, they basically will take any job that you offer them. So they're basically mercenaries. They're not really bounty hunters. But they're not really pirates because they don't steal from other ships, I guess. I don't know. That does bring up an interesting. No, JD is actually going to join us for the. That's another thing I wanted to mention. Other episodes for this are going. We're going to have guests for some of these, if not all of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, we did talk a little bit about it. I know for it being a premiere, we were like, let's just do this first time, and then...
Yeah. JD is actually going to join us for, I want to say it's Out of Gas. JD, is that the one that you wanted to join us for? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's the Out of Gas episode that he wants to talk about. And that's like episode...
Yeah, I'm trying to see which one that is.
So we got
Yeah.
a ways to go. The next episode is going to be the train job. I don't know. You know what? I think Mari had mentioned that she wanted to join us for an episode, but did not tell me.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We're gonna have guests on.
Let's say I know I had somebody I wanted to reach out to, but I was wanting to see.
Wasn't Andrew going to join us for an episode?
Well, I know. Okay, sorry. I had two people I was wanting to reach out to.
Okay.
He was one of them.
Yeah, I'll reach out to some other folks and find out what episode they want to cover with us. But this was, we're just kind of testing the waters on this one. I really like the first episode.
It was a pretty good first episode.
I'm not sure if I would say this is my favorite episode, but I feel like it would have been a really good starting episode for this TV program. It just didn't happen now.
I mean, like,
it doesn't matter, Matt, if you spoil them because we're spoiling everything anyway.
Yeah, like just talk about whatever's in the episode.
Like just spoil this one episode because we've already spoiled it. I basically ran through the entire episode. Okay, you know what? You weren't there for our Firefly episode on Rebel Nerd Radio, so I need to ask, what are your thoughts, Spencer, on the whole space western motif?
You know, it's a really interesting genre. I've really only ever watched another show I never finished, but I think I watched a little over half of it. That has a similar vibe is the anime Cowboy Bebop.
I've seen that one.
Yeah. The actual anime, not the live action show that Netflix did.
Okay.
But it kind of has a similar vibe, other than
Gotcha.
it has a couple like animeisms because it's an anime, but it's still pretty good though. It'd be one I would recommend because it doesn't lean heavy into like the animeisms as like others do. But anyway, point is like that's kind of like all I can really think. Oh, I guess Starfield kind of has a little bit of it, right?
Starfield,
like,
depending on what planet you go to.
Right. It depends, right?
That vibe is very heavy if you go to Aquila.
I don't remember. It's been so long since I played it, but yeah.
Aquila is where.
Is that where the space sheriffs are?
No, Aquila is the planet where the Freestar Collective is based out of.
Okay. It's been so long since I played.
No,
I want to get back into it.
It's the planet where you go and become a Freestar Ranger.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Okay, that's that's heavily Western.
Yeah.
I wonder if the folks that were doing Starfield were Firefly fans.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, it seems like if you're a sci-fi fan, like anybody that I know is a general sci-fi fan seems to be a fan of Firefly to some degree. You know, like it seems to be a commonly like if you're into sci-fi, you'd like this. But I also get it too. I think Matt said it earlier, something about sci-fi being a harder click in the early 2000s or something. I think he said that a bit earlier.
Let me
sci-fi wasn't as big back in the early 2000s, especially series, which I get that too. Like sci-fi is a hard genre to sell, even nowadays. Like that's what makes the fact that we're on a third Dune movie impressive, because hard sci-fi is a hard sell. Like that's part of like what I think makes Star Wars so big, is that it doesn't lean into the hard sci-fi isms that others do. It's at the end of the day, Star Wars is a space fantasy, and fantasy is something that clicks much easier for people than a hard sci-fi does. And so
to answer your question, Matt, yes, we are going episode by episode. Like right now, the plan is we're going to do every episode in canon order, not the way it was released.
Correct.
And then after we're done with the 14 episodes, we're going to do talking about the movie. Outside of that, we're not solid on what we're going to do, if anything. The plan, to answer your next question, is to do them on not every Thursday. This is going to be a maybe an every other week thing.
As I say, we talked about it being bi-weekly, so that way it can be spread out a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm going to spread it out a little bit. We will announce it like the days leading up to when we do it. We're going to announce, hey, we've got a new episode of Browncoat Broadcast coming. So it's not like you're going to have time to prepare.
Because I'll need that time too. Don't worry, Matt. We're in the same boat.
So yeah, we're going to do this. The plan is every other Thursday. Episode by episode. So that's 14 weeks. And then the movie is 15. We might talk about the comic books. I don't want to talk about the comic books at all until after we're done with the series at least. That is because most of the comic books take place between the TV series and the movie.
That makes sense. I mean, that makes sense too. Like, get through all the main source material first before you get into whatever side stuff there is as well. And so, but it's just a case of once we get to the movie, we'll see if it's viable to do that or not.
That is true, Bear. He needs time to watch his 10+ seasons of Smallville.
I'm over halfway through season 2. Thank you very much. Check out Before the Cape Saturday nights on the Dingus Den, 9 p.m. Eastern. Anyway,
I have watched Smallville through probably at least twice.
It's quite a feat.
It's
for a long series.
Hold that thought. This has nothing to do with Firefly, folks.
Welcome to yet another tangent on Rebel Nerd Radio.
Yet another squirrel moment.
Yet another. Oh my god.
Okay, so I've got this big ass thing.
Oh my god. The complete series.
Yeah. And yeah, so I've watched it at least twice through. Now, I didn't start watching that show when it started. However, I was watching it before it ended. So I jumped on board around, I want to say season 6. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. It was one of the later seasons. But yeah, I've rewatched since then. So, but anyway, Firefly. Yeah, I've probably watched through that a few times.
I mean, it's an easy watch with how short it is.
So,
if you're a watcher.
Anyone in the chat, and you also, Spencer, any final thoughts on the episode titled Serenity?
Final thoughts. Yeah, no, I mean, it was just a good premiere. I mean, I think we said the main general things. I'm curious about seeing like where some of the side characters might come back in. I don't know anything. I haven't looked at anything beyond. Like I've watched episode 2. I don't remember if I've seen 3 and beyond that. So we'll see.
Yeah. But you're gonna rewatch Train Job.
Yeah. It's been several years since I've seen it. I couldn't tell you what it's about.
It's about a train job.
You don't say. No. Whoa, that's crazy.
Okay, but yeah, seriously. Next time around, which won't be next Thursday, more than likely the Thursday after that, we are going to talk about the Train Job episode. So, thanks for you guys in the chat coming and hanging out with us tonight. These are going to be shorter episodes than our regular Rebel Nerd Radio live streams.
Yeah, we're aiming only for
they're not going to be like these 2.5 hour long shows. We're just going to, it's going to be short and sweet. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Train Job. So thanks for coming in, hanging out with us. Yeah, pretty much, Blue.
Came in right at the end. Good job.
You made it to the end. So next week we have no idea who our guest for the Train Job is going to be. Hopefully we will find out before 2 Thursdays from now.
2 weeks from now, yeah.
And then, yeah, so anybody who's rewatching or watching this live, thanks for watching. next time, come in the chat and talk to us, you heathens. And those of you on the rewatch, thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Make sure that you subscribe and like and leave comments. And go to bio.link/Rebel Nerd Radio. Why is that ticker going so slow?
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Yeah, just go to bio.link/Rebel Nerd Radio. That'll take you to all our socials. And one of the things that'll take you to is our Discord server. So you can come and talk about all kinds of stupid nerd shit on our Discord. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll see you there. And hopefully we'll see you not only for our next episode of Browncoat Broadcast, but our next episode of Rebel Nerd Radio this upcoming Tuesday, where we are going to be talking about the Maul Shadow Lord premiere.
Oh, I can't wait.
Make sure you check out the Dingus Den as well.
Actually, if you don't mind me saying something about that really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm actually doing another live at the top of the hour. So 40 minutes from now, where I'm going to be joined by our friend Nicole, also my friend Trevor, which or people in the Discord, specifically Blue and Chris, know him as Whiskey Wires, where we are going to be talking about our experiences this last weekend, where we each went to different cons. Crazy to believe that there's 4 notable cons that happened last weekend, and we all went to different ones. So we're kind of having like a fun hour-long stream, just kind of talking.
Can you put that link in the? Actually, I could probably do it. I was going to say put that link in the chat.
I was going to say I'm not modded in the chat, so I could even probably put it in there anyways.
Hang on. Give me.
I got you. Hold on.
Maybe. Oh, you've already got it.
No, I'm working on it though.
Let's see who does it first.
I don't think I'll let me send in the chat, but let me. It's right there though.
Oh, it won't let me do it. Damn it.
Well, it's not on Twitch, Blue, but thank you. So because I don't. Well, also check out my Twitch where I game some things, do some things there.
There we go. Got it.
There.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the latest live link. Where it'll be live at the top of the hour. So
check it out, and I'll put a. I'm gonna put a link to Dingus Den in the show description as well.
Do a bunch of comic-y stuff. Check it out.
Yes, and so that's it. Like I said, we're not gonna be doing these 2-hour-long episodes. We're gonna be short and sweet about it, and we'll see you next time. Hope you have a great night, and I thought I had something else to say, but I don't.
Did you?
All right, bye.